therapy and getting a psychiatrist or a psychologist is quite expensive. You know, it's such a... Most people, you often see people posting things like, I'd rather go and listen to so-and-so, listen to Adele or something, I don't know. But therapy is not that easily accessible for some people, you know. So I would like to hear just a few tips, what people can do to, you know, get themselves out of, you know, maybe a depressive state or anxiety or a panic attack. What are some of the tips that you can give people?
So I think definitely when it comes to anything, it's about routine. Do you know what I mean? It starts with routine. Get up in the morning, have your routine. I'm going to have breakfast, I'm going to start my work, I'm going to walk outside for a bit. And also have those coping skills or the self-help tips where you say, you know, like if I'm feeling stressed in this moment, something is stressing me out, take 3 minutes. Do a breathing technique. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Count while you're doing it. Put yourself in a different space, especially when it comes to anxiety and panic. It's putting yourself in that different space. To use breathing, on the website, we actually have various little videos, and they're super short, they're not long at all, just about breathing techniques, how you can manage your stress. There's self-help tips, you know, going for a walk. I know it's not always possible to do these type of things, but it's also, if you can just take 3 minutes and you put your phone off, you put your signal off so that you don't get anything coming in, you sort of put one song on. It can be one song that you do like, do you know what I mean? One song, and you just listen to it and you focus and you reset. Sometimes those little things do help, and it's because remember now within this COVID space, people are not compartmentalizing their lives. It's not, you travel to work, you go to work. You travel back home, now it's home space. Now you're doing your cooking, now you're going to sleep. Your workspace, your home space, everything is all in one. How do you compartmentalize your life? So you need to also take those regular breaks so that you don't feel overwhelmed. And that's going to happen it can happen to everyone and anyone. It's not just the person who has a diagnosed mental health issue. It's those that are feeling stress, that are, you know, feeling this social isolation. Their kids are at home, their husbands are at home. Everyone is at home, and now you're in the space. And you can't compartmentalize your life because work needs you, home needs you, kiddies need you, husband needs you. And then if you have a helper at home, then, you know, you're trying to coordinate that. There's a lot to coordinate. So it's taking that, even if it's a song, a space of a song, or 3 minutes, and you do breathing, just, you know, get yourself refocused. Okay, what can I do? Do you know what I mean? Don't also over stress yourself. You know, these to-do lists? Don't put all your to-dos for one whole month on one list. Break it up. Create a routine. It's super important. That's something that I myself have done, because compartmentalizing your life becomes very difficult. I mean, I also work in so I'm a little bit of an overworker, because I do love what I do. I love it so much that I just feel like I can do it consistently. But it's important to take those breaks. It's important to do yoga, even if it's via your phone. Do yoga via your phone. Do a breathing technique via your phone. Listen to a song, or even just watch one episode of a series that you've watched millions of times before.
And I think it's important also to note from what she's saying about routine that for our viewers at home, if you are depressed, you are feeling anxious, you're feeling anxiety, I'm sure if you were in that space whereby you felt like you're sinking, right? It's very important within the routine to understand how much it takes for you to do what you're about to do. And it's the simplest thing. When I talk to callers all the time, I say break down the activities that you do in your mind every day, and you'll see how much strength you have. For instance, waking up when you're depressed is the hardest of opening your eyes. Actually, just opening your eyes, saying that I'm about to, it's the hardest thing. We take this for granted, because when we do it, it's sort of like it's an easy thing. It's very easy for you to just, I'm waking up, But for someone who's depressed, it's very difficult. For someone who has anxiety, it's very difficult, because if I'm anxious, I'm going into that world that is actually going to make me feel scared again. If you're depressed, I'm going into that world that is actually, tormenting me and making me feel down. Like there's nothing else that is making me to go out there. But now, when you start breaking down all of these things that you do, from waking up, kicking the blankets off your body, putting your clothes on, brushing your teeth, going to eat. These are the most difficult things someone who's depressed could do, because you don't even feel like eating, and now you ate. So immediately once you start to appreciate yourself for those things, immediately once you start breaking down and you say, let me just appreciate myself, you'd see how much how much positive energy that is going to give to you, to say that let me not focus on the hardest things. As Vanisha said, to say that when you break down all of these things in a month, it's going to, if you want to do something, do everything in just 1 month, it's going to be very difficult for you. But immediately once you break it into a week, into a day, into just seconds, it's so important, because you start to acknowledge and realize that, as much as I am weak, I find this weakness to be my strength. And it sort of like gives you this thing of, I can do it, even when it's very difficult. So I'm just saying that, in you doing all of these self-help tips, or doing these things for you, you need to start noticing how little things actually matter. And once you start focusing on those things and saying, okay, I did this, wow, you'll see how much it is going to make you feel better.
I think hearing what you guys said, I think it's important for me to ask this just very quickly, then we're going to conclude. I think often people who go through depression and anxiety or any other mental illness often find themselves in environments where the people that they are with don't fully understand, or they don't know what to do, or they don't know what to say. Like if my friend is depressed, or my child is depressed, especially the parents, my child is depressed and I don't know what to do. Like I think one of the experiences I can talk about is someone who's depressed sleeping a lot, and the parents just want to say, get up, do something, what's wrong with you, you know what I mean? What can you say to those people? How can they better handle those kind of situations? What are the, so to speak, right things to say to somebody who is depressed, who is going through anxiety?
Can I just add that on that a bit before you guys answer? I was actually a victim of the same story when it happened with my wife. She was also depressed, couldn't wake up, but I didn't know how to deal with what she's going through. She used to tell me on a daily basis. I could actually see her that she's going through something, but I didn't know what to do at all. And the only resort we ended up is I referred her to a doctor that referred to a therapist. So what are the tips that we can, sort of maybe assist with at home?
Okay. So I like how you said you had to refer her. Understanding our strengths and our limits as a family is very important. That's number one. Number two, sometimes we crack our skulls, crack our brains trying to understand someone who is going through a depressive, state. And it's difficult sometimes to do that. We won't understand. We sometimes won't understand why this person is sleeping, why this person doesn't want to do anything, why they're not eating. It's difficult to understand. And sometimes it's not even your position to understand. And maybe that's the most difficult thing, for us as family. So what can I do as family? I seek knowledge. I don't understand this person. I don't understand what they're going through, right? But I can, however, support them in their state, or in the state that they are in. So what do? I seek knowledge. It's for people who want to find out more, our website has like an abundance of information in terms of depression, anxiety, bipolar, ADHD, post-traumatic stress. There's like a host of information. So I start there. Let me go get information. Let me start there. Let me familiarize myself with what exactly depression is, or rather, let me just Google, she is sleeping a lot, what's going on? And you'll get all of these information that is going to come up to say that probably she's experiencing depression or whatever. So now I've got the knowledge. Where do I go with this knowledge? What do I do with this, right? Maybe also your wife or your friend or your mother or your father doesn't understand what is going on with them. The only thing they know is that I don't feel like waking up. I don't feel like, Then I present them with this information to say that, I've been reading up. Remember that it's a sensitive thing to address someone and say you are depressed, you are this. Because already they become defensive they become defensive. Why are you saying I'm depressed? So it means I'm crazy. Remember that the stigma that is there, the only way to break down the stigma is through information. And immediately once we say you are depressed, you remember that depression is associated with weakness. Right? So the only way that we can break this is for actually give information. Then what do? You give the information to say, I was reading up. I was reading up on this thing and I've been noticing your behavior. So I think this might have, something to do with how you've been behaving, right? The second thing is that also in me reading up, I saw that actually a GP, I can take you to a GP who can actually see you, and then they maybe run they can run assessments and all of that. So that is me supporting. So my position as a family member, it is to support. Number 2 is to give a listening ear. And sometimes me listening doesn't mean that I will have the answers. Sometimes I don't have to have the answers. I can just be there. Being there is one of the most important things. When we get calls from people, they would always say, I don't have anyone to talk to. And it's not the state of them wanting you to respond, but it's the state of just you listening.
Just being there. It's the presence. I think it's the presence that's the most important. So that the person knows that, I know I'm feeling like this, and someone is noticing me feeling like this. It hasn't just gone unseen. I'm not waking up, I'm not feeling well. This person is noticing I'm not feeling well, and now I said, okay, fine. These are the reasons why I might not be feeling well. Let's go see what the options are. It's the same way, and I always do this. It's the same way if someone is pre-diabetic, right? If you notice that you're having you're having your normal sugar intake, you have it in your coffee, you're eating sugar, everything, but you're feeling your body is not feeling lekker. You're more thirsty, you're feeling lethargic, you're not feeling well. What would you do? You would go to a GP to say, you know what, I'm not feeling well. This is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling drowsy. I'm feeling super thirsty all the time. I can't seem to get enough water. I'm not going to the loo properly. All of these type of things. We would go to the doctor and say, this is how I'm feeling. Please help me by doing any sort of assessment, whatever it may be, to say what is the problem. And then the doctor would say, okay, you are diabetic, this is what it is, this is the medication, they explain to you that. It should be the same with mental health. That's where the stigma needs to, be destigmatized, to say that, it's the same thing.
Sure. There is a lot of really good information. I wish that we had more time, but I'm picking up that there's so many sort of like different stigmas. Like there's the thing with the men sort of having certain conversations that need to happen. Then it's the people who aren't depressed having to deal or understand other people. It's the issue of it's a big issue or it's a small issue or things like that. But it's a lot of information, but all of that information is on the SADAG website, and they have a helpline. I think you guys can just tell us where and how people can contact you and get in touch and all of that.
I'll give it to Thabo.
So for those who want to contact SADAG, you can go on our website. Our website, I think it has like an abundance of information. Our website is www.sadag.org.za. I repeat, www.sadag.org.za. And you can get a host of information from wanting to find out about PTSD, depression, anxiety, you name it, it's all there. And you can also contact us on our toll-free helplines, which is 0800 456 789. I repeat, 0800 456 789. You can talk to a counselor. It's either if you want to talk about yourself or you want to talk about a family member, a friend, whoever it is that you want to help. We are there for you, and we implore you to just come and talk to us instead of doing something that may harm yourself. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And before we conclude, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yes, I'd like to reach out to the people that have the same problem of mental health, harming themselves, to get in touch with us at info@sowetoink.com. We'll see how we can help them with the scars and how we can seek professional assistance through SADAG. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for tuning in, guys. See you next week.